Welcome. In this video, we'll learn more about Spreader, our mono-compatible stereo widening effect. Yes, Spreader can widen the stereo image of your audio without affecting compatibility with mono systems. Even if you listen to the affected audio on a mono speaker or a system that has both left and right output wired to one speaker, combining them to mono, it will still sound good. The display analyzes stereo width. The wider the diagram is, the wider the signal going through the plugin. So, mono signals are displayed as a vertical line. Input width is shown as yellow, and the dark orange graph is the output width. The 2 meters on the top are phase correlation meters. One for the input on the left, and one for the output on the right. Phase correlation is another way of measuring the stereo width of a signal. It's basically like reducing a vector scope to a one-dimensional object, a meter that can go up or down. With side-only signals, that means left and right channels are as different as they could be, this meter will read all the way left. Because left and right are completely out of phase and would cancel each other out in mono. With a mid-only signal, that means left and right channels are identical, this meter will read all the way on the right, because the phases are the same on left and right. The center position on phase correlation meters is the point at which 50% of the signal is different and 50% of the signal is the same on left and right channels. So it's the point at which, when summing to mono, you not only get a loss of width, but also a serious level reduction of over 6 decibels. A lot of music stays closer to the right than to the center on meters like these, meaning there's a solid center channel, or it's what we call mono-compatible, but there is also some stereo information. Now let's look at the controls. The most important one is spread, because it controls the stereo enhancement process, which parts of the spectrum get widened in what way. While it's not exactly a linear relationship to how wide the result is, with the knob all the way left, it adds no change and gradually changes the stereo field all the way to maximum on the right. Maximum stereo width depends on the frequency content of the input signal. If I send in a mono sine wave, there are multiple knob positions that do not change level on left versus right at all, for example. A more familiar control is separation from 0%, which merges left and right to mono, to 100%, which will essentially remove most of what left and right have in common. This is based on the same code as the stereo separation knob found on the mixer, a mid-side mix control, if you will. This process happens after the spread knob has already been calculated, so it changes the relationship of mid and side signals in the already widened signal. Use low bypass to filter low frequencies from the stereo effect. The range here is 10 to 10,000 Hz. This will preserve the original stereo width of low-end frequencies and help keep bass sounds centered. Bass is where stereo spread is rarely desirable. The mono button collapses all the low frequencies excluded from widening by low bypass to mono. So even if the original bass frequencies had stereo width, they can be centered with this button to achieve a mix that will work on big speaker systems with mono bass channels. And that is really all there is to know about Spreader. We hope this video shows it's an incredibly useful tool that can help you get your mix to the next level without any of the downsides usually introduced by stereo widening plugins. Remember to check out the video description for a link to the user manual page and the demo projects we created for this video. Happy music making!